Startled, Nana quickly got out of bed and rushed to the hallway. She saw Vera disappearing into her room and shutting the door. She turned back to Minjun, alarmed. "I think Vera saw us. What if she tells Jaemin?" Minjun pulled her back into bed. "Let's finish first. I haven't gotten what I came for." He leaned in and whispered, "I'll tell you what to do about Vera. Don't worry." Nana gave in, and they continued their affair, while Vera sat in her room in a daze, replaying what she had just discovered. Jaemin was kind, loyal, and completely devoted to Nana. He trusted her, and yet she had chosen to betray him with Minjun, his irresponsible, lazy brother. Vera had once admired Nana, thought she was beautiful and elegant. But now she saw her for what she really was, manipulative and shameless. There was a knock at her door. She checked the voice, Nana. Taking a deep breath, Vera opened the door. "Where are the things I asked you to get?" Nana asked casually, showing no sign of guilt. "I didn't go," Vera replied calmly. "After leaving the house, I remembered that Mr. Kim warned me not to leave without his permission. I came back to tell you, but you were busy." Nana sat beside her on the bed, crossing her legs neatly. "I can be your friend, or I can be your enemy, Vera. That decision is up to you. Whatever you saw today, I expect you to keep your mouth shut. Mind your business and do the job you were hired to do. Jaemin trusts me. He loves me. We've been together for 3 years. If you try to tell him anything, I will deny it. It'll be your word against mine. And trust me, he will believe me. If you speak up, I'll make your life miserable. I'll have Minjun do whatever he wants to you, and when I marry Jaemin, I'll throw you out myself." Vera's voice shook. "I'll be your friend." Nana smiled. "Good. I knew you were smart." As she walked away, Vera felt like she was going to be sick. She had once believed Nana was kind. Now she saw a woman wearing a mask. A beautiful one, but dark underneath. And worst of all, Vera knew Jaemin was trusting the wrong people. She was scared, too scared to expose the truth. In the days that followed, Vera avoided Jaemin like a shadow avoids the sun. She stayed locked in her room whenever he was home, afraid he'd read the guilt on her face. Meanwhile, Nana and Minjun made no effort to hide their affair in front of her. They kissed, whispered, and clung to each other the moment Jaemin left. But when he returned, Nana would shift back into her role as the perfect fiancé. Weeks passed. During dinner one night, Jaemin asked about Vera. "She's eating in her room," Nana answered casually. "I want to see her," he said. Vera was called down. The moment she saw Jaemin, her guilt made her hands tremble. "Please pour me some water," he said gently. She picked up the jug and tried to pour, but her hand shook violently. "Are you okay?" he asked. "Yes, sir. I've just been overworking myself," she replied weakly. Jaemin turned to Nana. "Please don't let her do too much. Let her rest more." That only made Vera feel worse. He was so kind, and being deceived so cruelly. "I know our wedding is in 3 days," Jaemin said. "But I have to travel for an important meeting. I'll be back the night before the wedding." "I don't want you to go," Nana pouted. "I'll miss you." Unable to bear the sight, Vera excused herself and went upstairs. The next morning, Jaemin was rushing out. Vera came down to say goodbye, and Nana kissed him tearfully. Minjun was seated, scrolling on his phone, pretending not to notice. Barely 30 minutes after Jaemin left, Nana and Minjun began kissing again, this time right on the couch. Disgusted, Vera went outside. She walked a few meters down the road and stood quietly, soaking in the morning sun. That's when she saw something unexpected. Jaemin driving back toward the house. He parked beside her. "What are you doing out here?" "Just enjoying the sun," she replied quickly. "That's nice," he said with a smile. "Glad I saw you. I left an important document on the table outside my room. Please grab it for me. I don't want to go back in. Nana will make a fuss." Vera nodded and rushed inside. But as she approached his room, she froze. The sounds coming from inside were unmistakable. Nana and Minjun again. And this time in Jaemin's room. Biting down her emotions, Vera picked up the file and walked back out. "Here it is, sir," she said. Jaemin smiled. "Thanks, Vera. I'll make sure to get you something special on my way back." As he reached for the ignition, Vera said, "Wait, sir. I need to tell you something." He paused, turned off the engine. "Okay, Go on, be quick, I'm in a hurry. Her heart raced. Her throat went dry. Her mind screamed with memories of Nana's threats. Come on, Vera, Jamin urged. I don't have all day. She stammered. Inside. Take a deep breath, he instructed. In and out. Slowly. She followed his words, and it calmed her. Then Jamin said gently, Now tell me, Vera. What's wrong? Vera sighed, her voice trembling. Sir, right now. Miss Nana and Mr. Minjun are in your bedroom. And there they're both naked. Jamin stared at her, blinking in disbelief. Then strangely he chuckled. Is that really what you wanted to tell me? Vera crossed her fingers nervously, unable to smile. Her face was pale and serious. That's when Jamin's smile faded. He saw the sincerity in her eyes and realized she wasn't joking. Without another word, he got out of his car. Wait here, he said, and strode toward the house. As he approached the front door, denial clung to him like a second skin. Nana was the woman he loved. He had done so much for her. 2 years ago, he'd almost run her over on the street in Gangnam. She was crossing aimlessly, numb with grief after losing her mother and sister in an accident. He'd taken her to the hospital, learned her story, and made it his mission to help her heal. He gave her shelter, comfort, love. He became her world, and she became his. He eventually asked her to marry him. He had poured himself into the relationship, and believed she had done the same. She always looked at him like he was her savior. So why? Why Minjun? His lazy, selfish younger brother whom she'd once called immature and entitled? When he reached his bedroom door, the truth hit him like a hammer. Inside, he heard Minjun say, I love you, Nana. And once you've married that loser brother of mine and taken everything, this will be our room. We'll kick him out. I like this room. It's the best. Nana's voice replied sweetly, I love you too, Minjun. I'm tired of hiding. I want the world to know you're mine. Jamin closed his eyes. Pain spread through his chest like fire. He had planned their wedding in just 48 hours. He had invited everyone he knew, wanting to make Nana feel special. But she had betrayed him, right in the room they were meant to share forever. He leaned his forehead against the wall beside the door and gritted his teeth. Then, with fury blazing in his eyes, he grabbed the doorknob, but it was locked. He stepped back and kicked the door open with all the strength he had left. Outside, Vera paced nervously, her heart in her throat. What if Nana was right? What if Jamin turned against her? What if she lost the only safe place she had ever known? But keeping the truth from him would have eaten her alive. And if he found out after the wedding that she had known and said nothing, he would never forgive her. He had given her dignity, a home, a second chance. She would bear the wrath of the world if it meant honoring that. Inside the bedroom, both Minjun and Nana screamed in shock. Minjun was about to yell, assuming it was Vera, but froze when he saw Jamin standing in the doorway. Neither of them had expected him back so soon. He was supposed to be on a plane by now. Jamin didn't say a word. He walked past them, his eyes burning, and opened his drawer. Realizing what he was about to do, both Minjun and Nana scrambled to grab their clothes and ran out of the room. Too late. Jamin pulled out his gun, cocked it, and fired. The shot missed, but sent both of them screaming out of the house. Nana, still half-dressed, had no time to collect herself. But shame wasn't her concern anymore. Survival was. Jamin chased after them, firing another warning shot that barely missed Minjun. They ran toward the back of his car, crouched low, trying to hide. Farther down the street, Vera had run from the gunshots. But she couldn't leave. She turned and saw Minjun and Nana fleeing, half-dressed, hiding behind the car. Jamin stood at the front door, gun still in hand, his entire body trembling with rage. He screamed, After everything I did for you, Nana, this is how you repay me? All the love I gave, all the sacrifices I made, you just spit on it like it meant nothing. I'm not surprised by Minjun, he's worthless. But you? You shattered my heart. He raised the gun again. If either of you so much as steps on my property again, I will put bullets through your chests. You hear me? I am done with both of you. Now get out. Nana stepped forward, about to kneel and beg, but Jamin roared, Get it. He fired again, and she ran back behind the car, finally putting on the rest of her clothes. They crawled toward the gate like cowards. Jaemin then turned to see Vera standing far off. "Vera, get inside. Now." As she passed by Nana and Minjun, they both shot her a glare full of venom. Nana snarled, "We had a deal, Vera, and you broke it. I will repay you, even if it's the last thing I do." Jaemin heard that, but said nothing. He returned the gun to his drawer and took a long breath. He hadn't meant to go that far, but something inside him snapped. Back in the living room, Vera stood, guilt flooding her face. Jaemin walked down the stairs and saw her. She couldn't look at him. Then, without warning, he grabbed her by the throat. She gasped, lifting her eyes to meet his. His voice shook with rage. "How long have you known about their affair?" I found out on my second day here," she choked. He flung her across the room. She landed on her hands and knees, coughing. "You betrayed me too, Vera. You knew and you kept quiet. I gave you everything, and you're no different from them." She clutched her throat, tears spilling as she watched him storm out of the house. Moments later, she heard the sound of his car driving away. She collapsed to the floor in tears. Jaemin sat silently inside his car, parked at the edge of a busy park in Hangang. He watched people coming and going, smiling couples, parents with children, people laughing, living lives far removed from his shattered reality. This park used to hold beautiful memories for him. He had brought Nana here often when she was still grieving, back when she was battling depression after losing her mother and sister in a tragic accident. He had found her broken, standing in the middle of the road, and almost run her over. That was the start of everything. He took her to the hospital, gave her a place to stay, a reason to smile again. And eventually he gave her his heart. And now they had both betrayed him. Not just Nana, but Vera too. The girl he rescued from being sold like merchandise. The girl who had seen the truth and said nothing. If he hadn't turned back for that forgotten document, he would have gone ahead with the wedding. He would have married Nana, never knowing she had been sleeping with Minjun, his own brother. What did she even see in him? Minjun was younger, yes, but unemployed, lazy, irresponsible. He had no ambition, no drive. And yet she chose him over Jaemin, the man who had given her everything. He recalled all the times he'd traveled for business, leaving the two of them behind. How naive he had been, thinking Nana might be lonely, while they were probably laughing behind his back the moment he walked out the door. And Minjun? He had his pick of women, but he went after the one person Jaemin loved, the only woman he had ever truly cared about. There was no way he could still travel. His mind was a wreck. Now he knew what real heartbreak felt like. His anger toward Nana was beyond words. And the wedding? That was the cruelest part. He had poured millions of won into planning a grand celebration, just for her. He didn't even care for extravagant events, but she had always dreamed of a wedding that would make her the envy of every woman in Seoul. She wanted the limelight, the glory of marrying a billionaire. Guests had already started arriving at his private resort in Jeju Island. Some had traveled from across the country. He had even put Tae-young in charge of entertaining them until the big day. He was supposed to arrive at the resort on the eve of the wedding, just to give Nana space to get ready. That was the plan. Now it all felt like a cruel joke. He thought back to the day he brought Vera home. How Nana had confronted him, accusing him of betrayal. What a hypocrite she turned out to be. He didn't know how long he had been sitting there, but when he looked around, the sun had dipped low. It was already evening. With a sigh, he rolled up his window and called Tae-young. His best friend answered excitedly. "We're all at the resort, bro. Having a blast. When are the bride and groom showing up? This place is paradise, man. I swear, your wedding's gonna be the talk of the town." "There's not going to be a wedding," Jaemin said flatly. Tae-young laughed. "Come on, man. Don't tell me pre-wedding jitters are hitting you now." "I'm serious," Jaemin snapped. "I've kicked Nana out of my house and out of my life. If she so much as shows her face near me again, I swear she might not walk away." There was silence on the line. "Wait, you're not joking," Tae-young said, stunned. "Okay, Where are you? Let's meet. I'm coming to you. Let's meet at your favorite bar in Hongdae, Jaemin said. I need a drink. 30 minutes later, Taeyoung arrived at the bar to find Jaemin already halfway through his second bottle of soju. That alone was shocking. Jaemin was not a man who drank often. He took a seat beside him. What happened? He asked softly. Jaemin let out a bitter laugh. I've been played, Taeyoung. By everyone. Nana has been sleeping with Minjun right under my nose. Taeyoung's eyes widened. The worst part? It wasn't even a fling. They're in love. They were talking about kicking me out of my own house and turning my bedroom into theirs. What? I found out today. But the real kicker is Vera, the girl I saved from the black market. She knew. She found out on her second day here and kept quiet. Taeyoung frowned. Damn. I was on my way to the airport when I realized I left a document behind. I turned back and saw Vera outside. I asked her to fetch it. She brought it, then broke down and told me Nana and Minjun were in my room. I went upstairs and saw them with my own eyes. Naked. Laughing. Taeyoung was speechless for a moment, then whispered, I'm so sorry, bro. I really don't know what to say. I know how much you loved Nana. Jaemin gave a hollow laugh. Everyone does. That's why it hurts this much. Taeyoung looked conflicted. I mean, I understand your pain, and you have every right to be angry. But are you sure calling off the wedding is the right move? Jaemin turned to him slowly, eyes burning. Are you insane? No, You think I should still go through with the wedding? Marry someone who is screwing my brother in my own house? What should I do? Smile and stand at the altar like a fool while she plays her part as the sweet, innocent bride. Taeyoung fell silent. I'm not going to be a part of her little fairy tale, Jaemin said coldly. Not anymore. Taeyoung tapped Jaemin on the back. Calm down, my friend. I'm not saying you should still marry Nana, and I'm certainly not suggesting you show up alone at the altar. I just want you to think about your reputation. Jaemin scoffed and downed another shot. I'm serious, Taeyoung said. If word gets out, it's going to be a disaster. You'll become a laughingstock. Nana and Minjun will be somewhere laughing, drinking to your humiliation. He leaned in. What I'm suggesting is, get a stand-in bride. Make an agreement with her. After 6 months or a year, pay her off and send her away quietly. Most of your guests don't know her personally. They came for you, not for your bride. Trust me, no one will notice the switch if she's dressed right and plays her part. Jaemin stared at him, brows furrowed. Think about it, Taeyoung added. You invited the media. If the wedding gets cancelled, the story of your bride cheating on you will be everywhere. But if the wedding proceeds as planned, no one knows what happened behind the scenes. Your image stays intact, and Nana and Minjun are the ones who lose. That's a clever plan, Jaemin admitted, rubbing his jaw. But it's risky. I've already been betrayed. I'm done with women for now. I don't need another one turning on me. In that case, use Vera, Taeyoung suggested. She's old enough. She may not be as flashy as Nana, but she's beautiful in her own right. People will believe you fell for her. Jaemin looked at him sharply. She's just a girl, Taeyoung continued. She has no reason to double-cross you. She'll be grateful for the opportunity. And when the time comes, pay her off and send her on her way. I don't trust her, Jaemin snapped. I heard what Nana said to her. She knew about the affair for weeks but said nothing. I could have avoided all this if she'd just told me earlier. Instead, she kept quiet, probably made a deal with Nana that didn't go her way, and that's why she finally spoke up. I get that, Taeyoung said. But she did tell you. Maybe not when she should have, but she still did before it was too late. He shrugged. You need a bride. She's available. You know her better than any random woman you'll find now. Just call a wedding planner, send her shopping, and have her show up in a hanbok come the day after tomorrow. That's it. She says the vows, smiles for the cameras, sits beside you at the reception. And then, back to her room. After 6 months, you pay her off and she vanishes. Done. Jaemin closed his eyes and gripped his glass tightly. Nana, you bitch, he muttered. This is all your fault. You'll rot for what you did. She will, Taeyang said. She just doesn't know it yet. Back at the mansion in Gangnam, Vera stared at the clock. It was getting late. She hadn't been able to sleep much the night before. Her guilt gnawed at her. If she had told Jaemin about Nana and Minjun the moment she found out, maybe all of this could have been avoided. She had let Nana's threats silence her. Now she had lost Jaemin's trust, possibly forever. Still, she went into the kitchen to make dinner. With Nana gone, someone had to do it. If Jaemin came home and found no food, he'd only grow angrier. She knew she could be kicked out at any moment. But if that happened, she would swallow her pride and go to her half-sister Ivy. Even if Ivy hated her, they were blood. She would become her maid if that's what it took to survive. She finished preparing dinner and waited. As soon as she heard the car pull in, she rushed to set the table. When Jaemin walked in, she greeted him softly. "Welcome back, sir. Dinner is ready." He walked to the table, looked down at the dishes, then looked at her. "This is dinner?" he asked coldly. "Yes, sir," she replied gently. Without a word, he grabbed the edge of the table and flipped it. Plates, cutlery, and food clattered to the floor. Vera froze, her heart in her throat. Jaemin stared down at her with ice in his eyes, then turned and walked up to his room without saying another word. She stood there silently for a moment, then knelt and began to clean up the mess. That night, she couldn't sleep. She woke up even earlier than usual, cooked breakfast, and quietly arranged the table again. If he destroyed everything again, she would clean it again. As long as he didn't throw her out, she would keep trying to earn his forgiveness. When Jaemin came downstairs dressed for work, she stood by the table immediately. "Good morning, sir," she said softly. "I've made breakfast." He glanced at the table, then at her. "Get ready," he said. "Someone will come in a few hours to take you shopping for a wedding hanbok and accessories." Her eyes widened. "You will stand in as my bride at the altar," he continued, his tone sharp. "But don't get any ideas. That doesn't make you my wife. It's for the public. I don't want anyone to know what happened between me and Nana. 6 months later, I'll pay you off. You can go back to wherever the hell you came from. Do you understand?" Vera stared at him, speechless. "I asked you a question, Vera," he snapped. "Do you understand me?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, sir." "Good." He turned and walked away without sparing her another glance. Vera stood frozen in place, her mind swirling. Even though Jaemin had clearly said she was to be his pretend wife for just 6 months, she still couldn't understand why he had chosen her. She wasn't worthy of that role, not even temporarily. Why her? His wedding was just a day away. As a wealthy man, he must have already invited high society, important people. He could have hired someone better suited for the job. Someone trained to carry herself with poise and confidence. Not a maid with a traumatic past. She was still lost in thought when a knock jolted her back to the present. She rushed to the door and opened it. Standing before her was a tall, elegant Korean woman with flawless makeup and a radiant smile. "Annyeonghaseyo," the woman said, offering a handshake. "I'm Ji-woo, the wedding planner hired by Mr. Kim. You must be Miss Vera, his bride-to-be?" Vera blinked, then nodded and shook her hand. "Yes, I'm Vera." "Perfect," Ji-woo chirped. "Mr. Kim said your fashion sense is 0, his words, not mine. So we're going to fix that." She rattled on. "We've got to head to Cheongdam-dong right away. We'll shop for your wedding hanbok, after-wedding clothes, casual wear, the works. By the time I'm done with you, you'll look like someone born to be on magazine covers." Vera stood speechless, still struggling to digest the idea of wearing a wedding hanbok. Her mind drifted again. A bride? She'd never imagined she'd even live long enough to dream of marriage. After being sold off, her only goal had been survival. Love, weddings, happiness, all long buried. Even though it wasn't real, dressing up as Jaemin's bride, even for just one day, felt monumental. What would Nana think if she found out? Then she remembered Nana's threat. A chill ran down her spine. She was pulled back again by Ji-woo, who tapped her gently. "Miss Vera, I'm still waiting for you to get ready." Snapping to attention, Vera nodded quickly and went upstairs to change. Minutes later, she followed Jiwoo into her car, and they left the mansion. Elsewhere, Nana sat in a hotel room in Itaewon she had paid for, a temporary haven she shared with Minjun. The room was comfortable, and she had plenty of money thanks to Jaemin's past generosity, yet her heart was restless. She had told herself it wouldn't be hard to live without Jaemin, but now there was a painful knot inside her chest she couldn't ignore. Minjun walked in from the living room with a soju bottle in hand, eventually flopping on the bed like a carefree child. She stared at him, remembering how this all started. Back then, she had no intentions of betraying Jaemin. He had saved her life, picked her up when she had nothing. He gave her a reason to live again. She had loved him in her own way. But Minjun had been hard to ignore, handsome, flirty, and always shirtless around the house. She tried her best to resist. Then one night, while Jaemin was away on a business trip, Minjun had knocked on her door. He told her he was in love with her, and she let him in. It was supposed to be a one-time mistake, but it became a craving she couldn't ignore. He touched her in ways Jaemin never had, awakened things she never knew existed. Soon, she stopped feeling guilty. Their affair turned into a routine. They made plans, their future. Minjun had even convinced her to go ahead and marry Jaemin, promising they'd take everything from him and then kick him out. She believed him. Until tonight. Now, watching Minjun sprawl across the bed drunkenly, her guilt returned. Did he really love her? Then Minjun, in his drunken haze, began to mutter. That bastard Jaemin thinks he's a Kim. My mom told me everything. He was picked off the street like a stray. Abandoned. Trash. He chuckled bitterly. My dad gave him everything. And now he thinks he's better than me? Took the company, the house, the spotlight. But I'll take it all back. Even if it's the last thing I do. Nana sat up in shock. What? She had never known that Jaemin wasn't biologically a Kim. But even more disturbing was Minjun's obsession with destroying him. Was this all about her, or just revenge? Had he used her? Suddenly, nothing made sense anymore. Her heart ached. Maybe she did still love Jaemin. She glanced at the mirror and saw her reflection, guilt clouding her face. What if I apologize? She thought. Would he forgive me? She quickly freshened up, applied flawless makeup, and changed into an elegant outfit. She called one of Jaemin's drivers, confident that none of his staff knew what had happened yet. She was told Jaemin was at the office in Gangnam. Hope bloomed in her chest. She rushed there, rehearsing her apology in her mind. She'd beg him, fall to her knees if she had to. But as Jaemin exited the building and moved toward his car, she ran up to him. Tears already welling, she fell to her knees. Please, Jaemin, I made a mistake. Minjun seduced me. I was foolish. I love you. Please forgive me. He didn't say a word. He climbed into his car. She got up, pleading. Then, as he started the engine and drove toward her, her eyes widened. Was he? She jumped to the side, narrowly escaping being run over. She crashed to the pavement, skinning her knees and palms. When she looked up, Jaemin was gone, never even looking back. She wept. At home, Jaemin stormed into what used to be Nana's room. He dragged out everything she owned and set it all on fire in the driveway. He stood there, watching the flames dance, his heart burning alongside them. Meanwhile, Vera returned from the mall, carrying more bags than she'd ever owned in her entire life. The wedding planner had made her try on every piece, shoes, dresses, accessories. But it was the wedding hanbok that truly stunned her. She had never looked so beautiful. She kept her distance from Jaemin, still afraid he hated her. When the delivery truck arrived with all her things, she helped unload and quietly placed everything in her room. Jiwoo handed her the hanbok and accessories personally before reminding her. Get enough rest tonight. Hair, makeup, stylists. We'll all be here early tomorrow to get you ready. Vera nodded, overwhelmed. Later, she made dinner. She didn't know if Jaemin had eaten anything all day. He hadn't come out of his room since returning. He'll get sick if he doesn't eat something, she thought. Summoning courage, she climbed the stairs and knocked gently on his door. Sir? Dinner is ready. Mr. Kim, are you sleeping? I made food. No reply. She knocked again. Sir? Still silence. She was about to knock again when the door suddenly opened. Jamin glared at her. Don't you ever knock on my door again, he growled, then slammed the door shut. Vera stood still, hands trembling, eyes stinging with tears. But she whispered to herself, I will make it up to you. I promise. Vera nodded quickly and ran to her room. The wedding was tomorrow, and even though Mr. Jamin had said this was a contract marriage, he was being so strict and cold toward her that she couldn't imagine standing beside him at the altar. Inside her room, she couldn't sleep. She turned from side to side, over and over again. Yes, he never asked for her opinion. He simply informed her about the wedding like it was some business deal. But despite everything, her heart wouldn't stop racing. How could she, a nobody, walk down the aisle with a man like Jamin Kim? It felt like a dream. No, worse, a trap. Still, she reminded herself that she had no say. Just like she never did in most of the things that had happened in her life. So she closed her eyes, whispered a prayer, and left everything in fate's hands. Meanwhile, Jamin was wide awake in his own room. He regretted ever meeting Nana. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't shake off her betrayal. He hated himself for loving her so deeply, for spoiling her, for planning the kind of wedding she had always dreamed of. And now he was about to marry someone he barely trusted. Yes, it was only a contract marriage. 6 months. But it still didn't feel right. He couldn't stop thinking about how Vera had kept Nana's secret. And yet, compared to Nana, she still seemed pure. Eventually, Jamin fell asleep. But because it was so late, he overslept. The next morning, Jiwoo, the wedding planner, was already in Vera's room, on the phone organizing things. The makeup artist and hairstylist were expected to arrive soon. Jamin was still in bed when Taeyoung arrived and knocked on his door. He had assumed Jamin would be dressed and ready by now. But when the door opened and Jamin appeared in pajamas, hair tousled and clearly just waking up, Taeyoung blinked. What's wrong with you, man? Why aren't you ready? I slept late, Jamin muttered. Taeyoung sighed and waited as his friend brushed his teeth, took a shower, and finally dressed. On their way out, Jamin stopped at Vera's door and knocked. The wedding planner opened it. Make sure you bring her to the venue. Don't be late, he said and walked off. Vera didn't see him. She was having her makeup done when she heard his voice outside the door, and her heart skipped a beat. The makeup artist, a bubbly girl barely older than her, smiled and said, You're so pretty, Miss Vera. And lucky. You're marrying Jamin Kim, handsome, rich, and powerful. You'll never lack anything again, even if you never work a day in your life. Vera forced a small smile. If only the girl knew the truth. When her preparations were complete, Vera stood in front of the mirror, stunned. The reflection looking back at her didn't feel real. She looked beautiful. The 3 women helping her all stared in awe. Each of them secretly wished they were the ones marrying Jamin. After a few photos, Vera was escorted to the resort in Jeju Island. Her eyes widened as soon as she arrived. The place was breathtaking. Decorated with elegance and glamour, it didn't look like a wedding. It looked like a royal coronation. Dozens of luxury cars lined the driveway. Well-dressed guests mingled, many of whom were clearly high society. She stepped out of the car and instantly felt her knees buckle. This was too much. The ceremony was outdoors. The stage was dazzling, and a priest was already waiting. Below the stage sat Jamin, dashing in his black and white suit, and beside him, his best friend Taeyoung. Jiwoo turned to her. We're right on time. They're about to begin. Vera looked around nervously. Please, can you walk with me to the front? I can't, Jiwoo said gently. I'm not dressed for this crowd. This is your moment, Vera. You'll have to walk alone. With that, Jiwoo stepped back and left her standing at the entrance. Vera froze. Thousands of eyes were on her. Some guests turned to look. Others whispered. Cameras clicked. Phones recorded. She kept her face down. Her grip on the bouquet tightened to stop her hands from shaking. What if I fall? What if I mess up? What if I faint? Then the noise grew louder. She looked up. Jaemin was walking toward her. He looked stunning, tall, sharp, confident. He made her heart race. She feared he was going to scold her for hesitating. But when he reached her, he smiled. A real, soft smile. He extended his hand. She stared at it, stunned. He reached for hers and gently intertwined their fingers. The crowd gasped and cooed. Camera flashes went off like fireworks. Together, they walked to the altar, side by side. The priest began the ceremony. Everything felt like a dream. Then came the moment for their vows. Jaemin turned to her with a steady voice and said, "From the moment I met you, you gave my life meaning and purpose. I promise to love and cherish you forever." Vera's eyes widened. No one had told her she had to say vows. Her hands trembled. But then she took a breath, looked into his eyes, and said, "You saved me and gave me a reason to live. I will treasure you for as long as I live." The crowd erupted in cheers and claps. Jaemin wasn't moved. He assumed Vera had rehearsed something nice to please the public. He didn't know that her words had come from the depths of her heart. To her, this was real. Even if it only lasted 6 months, she would cherish every second. Then came the final part. Taeyoung stepped forward with the rings. They slid them onto each other's fingers. Vera thought that was it. But then the priest said, "You may now kiss your bride." And before she could blink, Jaemin pulled her close and crushed his lips against hers. Vera stood frozen, cheeks flushed, eyes wide as the kiss ended. Jaemin, on the other hand, looked completely unaffected. He turned to the crowd and waved with a confident smile as the entire resort burst into applause and cheers. But Vera couldn't meet anyone's eyes. That was her first kiss. And no matter how much she tried to push the feeling aside, her heart was racing. There was a tingling in her chest and a warmth low in her stomach she had never felt before. She had always respected Jaemin, feared him even, but now being kissed by him in front of the whole world, it was a moment she'd never forget. People began to approach them, offering warm congratulations. Vera recognized none of them: wealthy strangers, high society women, polished businessmen. All of them knew Jaemin. None of them knew her. She overheard a few women complimenting her beauty. Someone even said, "She's so elegant, he chose well." Vera's heart skipped again. Does Jaemin think I look beautiful too? She wondered. But he hadn't given her a single compliment. No soft smile. No sign that he was moved by her presence. She told herself not to be foolish. He was just doing what he had to do. Once the makeup and hanbok were gone, she'd go back to being plain Vera, the maid. "What are you thinking about?" Jaemin asked in a low voice. "Huh." She blinked at him, pulled from her thoughts. He smiled stiffly and said through clenched teeth, "Stop zoning out. Smile. Act like you're the happiest bride in the world. You look like you were dragged here at gunpoint." Vera quickly straightened her posture and forced a soft smile. She looked around the crowd, trying to stay present and avoid getting lost in her head again. Then it was time for the grand reception. Jaemin led her into a lavishly decorated banquet hall that shimmered like a palace. Vera's eyes widened. It was more beautiful than anything she had ever seen. She felt like royalty when he pulled out her chair for her. The MC took the microphone and asked, "So, Mr. and Mrs. Kim, how did you two meet?" Before Vera could panic, Jaemin leaned forward and answered smoothly, "We met at the market. I was there to buy, she was there to sell. In the end, we both stole something from each other, our hearts." The crowd laughed and clapped. Vera turned to him in surprise. Half of that was true. But he said it so convincingly that it sounded romantic, even magical. She was grateful he answered. She wouldn't have known what to say. Then came the moment to feed each other cake. Jaemin held her gaze, smiled lovingly, and brought the fork to her lips like a doting groom. The cameras flashed. People sighed. To the guests, he looked madly in love. In truth, Jaemin was carefully choreographing every move. He didn't let her drink any soju, suspecting she might not be able to handle alcohol. He wasn't about to let her ruin things by getting drunk and saying something stupid. Then came the first dance. He took her hand and led her to the dance floor. The MC joked that Jaemin Kim was clearly obsessed with his new bride and didn't want to be apart from her for even a second. The music began. Romantic. Slow. Jaemin placed a firm hand around her waist and pulled her close. At his quiet instruction, she wrapped her arms around his neck. They began to sway. Around them, fireworks went off, colorful lights sparkling in the sky. For a moment, Vera felt the entire world disappear. The music, the crowd, the tension, it all blurred. She felt safe in his arms. Then the tears started to well in her eyes. Jaemin noticed. "What's the problem?" he asked quietly. "Nothing, sir," she whispered. "I just felt a rush of emotions. It made me a little emotional." He gave a faint smile, but his voice was warning. "Don't cry. Don't ruin this. You won't like the outcome if you do." Vera nodded and quickly pressed her face against his chest. She didn't want to ruin anything. She wanted the moment to last forever. But it didn't. Soon the dance ended. The guests clapped and cameras flashed once more. The night came to a close. Jaemin politely said goodbye to his guests and friends and led Vera into their suite inside the resort. The moment the door shut behind them, everything changed. The man who had just played the perfect groom vanished. His smile disappeared. His eyes turned cold again. He walked straight to the couch and sat down, pulling out his phone. Thank you for watching. Kindly subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so as to get notified when we drop new stories. Like and share to family and friends, and finally tell us where you're watching from in the comment section, and we will see you in our next video.